Hey guys, grew up my beard for this review. Wanna know why? Because I want to look like every single male character in this film.
Seriously, Rob Zombie, you did an awesome job on making every single guy in this film look like you. I mean, even Michael when he grew up. Kind of amazed he got that mane inside the mask.
You wanna know what else Rob Zombie got right in this film? Giving Michael motives. Oh yeah, that was the right call. Because I always needed more motive why Michael was such an evil bastard, and I just couldn't get behind those stupid original Halloween films without that. Oh no! Wow, it's almost like a remake of my Resurrection review, though this time instead of less facial hair, I added more, which made it absolutely perfect. Oh, and why did I kill him? Well, I had a bad childhood. So one of the things John Carpenter said of Michael Myers is the audience should never relate to him. So, as an exercise in completely missing the point, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween remake that tries to do just that.
One of the things I usually harp on in films is when a killer has no motivation to do so other than being crazy and it comes off rather silly. Well, a killer with no real motivation other than that can be done well as long as it's not just being done to cover for lazy writing and actually follows the theme. Just take a look at the opening scene of the original Halloween. After he stabs his sister, they unmask Michael and all just stand there dumbfounded. The scene is tragic because there was no reason for it. There's just something completely wrong and evil in this child's head.
I know some other sequel said something else, but we'll get to that one.
Now, as for the remake, well, of course we need to see absolutely everyone, except for his mother because she's being played by Rob Zombie's wife, treating Michael like a piece of shit.
Why? Because we have to miss the point.
One of the major strengths of the original films was Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis. He was one of those actors who really put his all into whatever film he was doing, and Loomis, having been Michael's doctor for the last 15 years, can really be the voice of Michael Myers without him having to say a word.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Oh, but thank fuck we have the remake so we can hear him whine as a kid.
Get your ass downstairs and wash your hands, you little shit. I'm not listening!
Just let that wonderful introduction to Michael Myers' voice just fill your head every time you watch a Michael Myers scene.
It is time, Michael.
I'm not listening!
Michael? If you want another victim, take me. But leave those people in peace.
I'm not listening!
God damn you. Don't you remember how much better you used to be? You don't need that.
I'm not listening!
Michael?
I'm not listening!
What an improvement. What an improvement. Good job, remake.
So in the original, you have that really powerful speech by Dr. Loomis about how evil Michael is, and then you have the equivalent of that speech by Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Loomis, where he pretty much just says, he's bad!
Malcolm McDowell, you're the worst. Just go home.
Of course I'm kidding. Malcolm McDowell's been great in many things, like Island of the Dead, where he fought a swarm of supernatural flies, but here his portrayal of Dr. Loomis just doesn't match up to Donald Pleasence's. Just take their introduction in both films. In the original, you have where they are transferring Michael for a hearing, and Loomis expresses how he never wants him to get out. In the Zombie Poomby remake, we get Loomis strutting down the school hallway in stupid glasses because Michael's been bad. And through the original film, you can read it over Pleasance's performance what an impact dealing with the evil that is Michael Myers has had on him. In the remake, Loomis needs to keep saying he failed Michael because, well, this movie needs to feed you every single little thing.
Michael, it's my fault. I failed you.
And of course, having him state he failed him is yet another attempt to try and get us to feel bad for poor little mass murderer. And I mean, how can we stay mad at him when he had a bad childhood?
And that's pretty much all the first half of this movie is trying to do. The exact opposite of the original creator's intent with the character. Make you relate to Michael Myers and see what turned him into the monster that wore the painted up William Shatner mask.
Oh, everyone already knows that, Michael. Or should I say William? Or Captain Kirk? We did that before, Michael. No!
And of course, even trying to make you relate to Michael, it does a piss poor job of. I mean, all it really does is show you he was surrounded by a bunch of assholes.
Huh? Oh, very funny, Michael. You know what? You have no reason, no conscience, no understanding, even the most rudimentary sense of life. Really wanted to do that speech. Well, you know what, Michael? You're bad!
And yes, I really do mean they turn absolutely everyone into an asshole in this film to serve its piss poor feel bad for Michael theme.
Cute baby. Couldn't be related to you.
Oh, shouldn't have said that. Now Michael's gonna stab you with that metal fork. You know, like the kind they don't keep in mental institutes for this very reason. But, you know, Michael hasn't grown into that pushing his thumb through someone's forehead strength quite yet, so killing her with a plastic knife would be silly.
Ow. Yeah, that was silly now, wasn't it?
And it gets to the point where you just get really sick of watching a movie full of assholes, Rob Zombie impersonators, and people who need to relate every little thing to sex.
Now, of course there was sex in the original film, but this fucking thing acted like it needed to remind us every 5 minutes or we might forget.
Hell, let's take a look at our introduction to Laurie in this film.
Mr. Nichols is a horny old pervert.
Okay, don't even want to know.
Guess what, Mom? Mr. Nichols touched me the wrong way. Oh, Mom!
Okay, that is so not funny.
A screwdriver, Mommy. Look at this, Mom.
Laurie!
I'm sorry.
Wow, what a great way to make you not care about the main character that we met halfway through the film. Okay, Laurie's not the main character.
In the original, she is and was portrayed as a nice person, one you really didn't want to see get killed by this mysterious and evil psychopath. In the remake, we barely know Laurie except for mostly annoying bits like where she sexualizes a bagel. Sure, about halfway through we start following her for the most part, but we just spent the first half of this 2-hour film with the man who is now stalking her. This pretty much destroys all fear brought by the situation because you are now comfortable with having Michael Myers on screen as he was on it for so long before this. You see the original Michael and wonder what this deranged psychopath might do, and it brings tension. You see remake Michael and you remember a kid who whined and cried a lot. Now, remake Laurie does show a couple times a kind of funny, quirky side, which maybe if they'd played that part up, we could at least, want her to live. But nah, it's just 6666666. OMG, we're dying. How could this happen when we were such assholes?
We only really have 2 people in this film who aren't miserable shits, and that's Michael's mother and Dr. Loomis. They aren't miserable shits, they're just incredibly incompetent.
And I'm pretty convinced that the only reason that Michael's mother wasn't played as an asshole was the role ended up going to Rob Zombie's wife and he wanted her to be good. As really, her not being an ass to Michael pretty much goes against the rest of the theme of the film.
You know, that super complex one? Everyone's an asshole?
Her scenes are mostly comprised of Rob Zombie saying, "Look at how hot my wife is," and then him saying, "Look at how dumb my wife is."
We found this in Michael's school bag.
Come on, big deal. He found a dead cat.
And these?
Oh, this is really sick. Are you saying Michael did this?
No!
Oh, Michael, did you find a hand on the side of the road again? Oh, Michael, if I didn't know better, I'd almost say you killed someone again.
She ends up killing herself because suicide is painless and Michael isn't getting any better after he killed his asshole stepfather, asshole older sister, and her dumbass boyfriend. I mean, it's not like she still had another child to look after or anything.
Oh well, I'm sure she'll turn out alright.
Look at this, Mom.
Lori!
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, and that original movie sure fucked up by not having child Michael Myers wearing the mask. Good thing we have this remake to rectify that.
Looks like Michael Myers shrunk in the wash or something.
Also, apparently child Michael Myers saved this mask under the floorboards for 15 years. That's quite the feat. I mean, one, how would he have gotten it under the floorboards in the first place? And two, a latex mask wouldn't survive that long under the floorboards, would it? Now, let's take a look at Remake Loomis.
Michael, it's my fault. I failed you. When I first met him, he was a sweet, charming little boy.
Please, listen to me. This may be a matter of life and death.
Michael was created by a perfect alignment of interior and exterior factors gone violently wrong.
I'm sorry, Dr. Loomis. I'm so sorry.
Besides Michael having a bad childhood, we learned the other thing that turned Michael into a psychopath was apparently Dr. Loomis just being a terrible doctor, as we see Michael in the hospital still acting like a normal boy.
So you remember nothing about the killing?
Mm-mm. I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. But you were covered in blood. Whose blood was it?
Why are we trying to whitewash this? Why isn't this where we're trying to build up the soulless murderer he has become?
Alright, because this movie sucks.
In fact, we still see him acting fairly normal in the hospital scenes for a while, just that he really wants to go home, yet Loomis is constantly talking about what a monster he has become.
I just want to go home.
It's okay. It's okay.
I want to just go home.
I'm afraid you can't go home.
Why?
Because you've done terrible things.
The child christened Michael Myers has become a sort of ghost, a mere shape of a human being.
Because they originally called Michael Myers the Sheep. Maybe if it was a better film. Maybe if it was a better film.
The descriptions of Michael by Loomis just don't match at all what's actually going on in any of these scenes. So the way the Michael and the hospital scenes go, it just makes it look like Loomis made him worse over time by almost immediately giving up on him. And it not only takes away from the power of the character of Michael to see him crying about wanting to go home, but from the character of Loomis as well to see him so terrible at his job.
The one speech by Loomis in the original is so much more powerful, and it proves that there is an exception to the rule, show don't tell. It also helps that when it was shown, it was done extremely incompetently.
So with the mystery and complete lack of reason behind Michael's soulless eyes completely destroyed, we have a little wiener boy going back home after 15 years to try and deal with his rage issues due to poor mental care. As I said before, this movie destroys all fear and tension behind the character of Michael Myers by spending the first half of it trying to get to know him, and then the second half in a rushed regurgitation of the original film with shittier people to follow. I mean, except for Brad Dourif as the sheriff.
Dad. Nice furry hat, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you.
What's up, Dad?
I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Damn you, Dourif. Well, I suppose in Ken Foree's cameo, he wasn't shittier. He was just shitting. Yep, that was his big part in this film, taking a dump.
Shitting cameo!
And because of Poop smelling bad and traumatizing Michael as a child, he kills him. Or he wanted his stinky coveralls, I don't know, whatever. And just because I know I'll get killed if I don't mention this, Danielle Harris, who plays Annie in the remake, was Samantha in One Life to Live.
To really sum this thing up, here's how we were introduced to the classic Halloween theme in both films.
In the original, after playing in the intro within the actual film, we first heard upon Loomis's discovery of Michael's escape from Smith's Grove Mental Hospital. It sets the mood for what just happened and the impending doom because of it perfectly.
Since when did they let them wander around?
Pull up to the main gate.
Shouldn't we
Go on, move.
In the remake, it first plays when he gets upset over getting in trouble at school and having his mom called in.
I need to take him through a series of tests.
You can talk to him, but what is evaluating him? What does that
Obviously.
Michael? Michael? Where did he go? I'll just set the PKE meter to completely mindless idiocy. That'll find him. Whoa, really strong levels of psychokinetic idiocy coming from over here. Now, 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 now.
I don't like this movie, doesn't look too friendly. This monster seems so fake, my nerves are gonna break. Phelous, don't let me down, you need to be around. Grab that running one up and blast, I sing a new one. This movie looks shitty. Phelous, so Phelous, bring a multi-comedy of Phelous, so Phelous, and some horror movies, so Phelous, so Phelous. I don't care about how you sound, oh Phelous, so Phelous. What's your opinion about?
They've already destroyed Michael Myers' character. What more could they do? Oh, come on, Michael. Don't be silly. Yep, Michael Myers was Freddy Krueger all along.